the faithful. The homily was officially made part of the Mass, and the prayers of the faithful.
Laudetur Jesus Christus, praise be Jesus Christ. It is the 29th of October 2023, and it's in the church liturgical calendar. We are celebrating the 30th Sunday in Ordinary Time. Welcome to the broadcast of the Recitation of the Angelus, coming to you live from St. Peter's Square here in the Vatican. Pope Francis will soon lead us in the traditional Marian prayer of the Angelus from his apostolic palace, from the window of his apostolic palace. At the end of the recitation of the Angelus prayer, the Holy Father will impart his apostolic blessing, as he does every Sunday at noon when he has the Angelus. And this blessing also reaches out to all of us, those of you who are listening and watching the broadcast from wherever you are. My name is Father Paul Samasumo. On behalf of Vatican Media, I would like to welcome and acknowledge and thank all of you following us on our various social media channels, or are linked to our website, vaticannews.va. Some of you are tuned in to shortwave radio, or perhaps you are following us from your national, local, religious, or diocesan television, or even radio station. Wherever you are, welcome. In a special way, welcome also to our partner television and radio stations of Catholic Television, Catholic Faith Network, Shalom World Television Networks, Shalom TV India, EWTN Television, Salt and Light TV at Madashan TV, Uganda Catholic TV, and of course our listeners of Luminous Radio and Radio Maria England. You will find more information and details of the Angelus of today on our website, vaticannews.va. For those of you who were not able to join us this morning in our earlier broadcast, Pope Francis celebrated the closing Mass for the month-long meeting of the Synod on Synodality, which began on the 4th of October and ended today with the Holy Eucharist presided over by the Holy Father himself. The Mass was held in the Basilica of St. Peter. The Synod on Synodality, you will agree, has been a historic event that brought together about 363 voting participants from all over the world. And for the first time, lay people, including 54 women, had voting rights. Last night, a synthesis report was released. So there are two documents that have come out of this synod. There's been the letter to the people of God, and also the synthesis report. Apart from the synod, Pope Francis this week had on his mind the Israel and Hamas war in the Middle East, and on Friday he invited the faithful throughout the world to observe a day of prayer and fasting in the context of the devastating wave of violence unfolding in the Holy Land. I invite sisters and brothers in the various Christian denominations, those belonging to other religions, and all those who have at heart the cause of peace in the world, to join as they see fit, said Pope Francis. Presiding at the prayer service vigil that alternated gospel readings, prayers, and meditations, as well as rosary, the Holy Father implored Our Lady, asking her to look at us as we stand here before you. And as you can hear and see from the applause, Pope Francis has just come to the window of the Apostolic Palace to begin the Angelus of today.
Cari fratelli e sorelle,
Dear brothers and
buongiorno.
sisters, buongiorno.
Il Vangelo di oggi
Today's Gospel
parla del più
speaks to
grande dei
us about
comandamenti.
the greatest of the commandments.
Un dottore della Chiesa
A doctor of the law
interroga Gesù
questions Jesus
in proposito
about
e lui
this
risponde
and
con il
responds
grande
with the
comandamento
great
dell'amore.
commandment of love.
Amerai il Signore
You shall
tuo
love
Dio
the Lord your
con
God
tutto il tuo
with
cuore,
all your
con
heart
tutta
and
la
with
tua
all your
anima,
soul
con tutta la
and
tua
with
mente,
all your mind,
e il tuo prossimo
and
come
your
te
neighbor
stesso.
as yourself.
Amore di Dio
Love
e
of God
prossimo,
and neighbor are
inseparabili l'uno
inseparable
dall'altro.
from each other. So
Fermiamoci un po'
let us pause to
per
reflect
riflettere su questo.
on two aspects of this reality. The first,
Il fatto che l'amore
the
per
fact
il
that
Signore
love
viene
for the
prima
Lord comes first
ricorda che
reminds
Dio
us that
sempre
God
ci
always
anticipa,
precedes us.
ci anticipa
He anticipates
con la
us
sua
with His intimate, infinite tenderness,
sua vicinanza, con la sua misericordia.
with His
Perché lui
mercy,
è sempre
because
vicino,
He is
tenero
always
e misericordioso.
near, close,
Un
and
bambino
is
impara
tender
a
and merciful.
amare
A child learns to
dalla
love
mamma o del papà.
from
Noi
mom
facciamo
and dad's
per le braccia
knees,
di Dio.
and we learn it in
Dice
God's
Salmo,
arms,
come un bimbo
like
svegliato
a
si
weaned
lascia
child
madre.
in the arms of his mother. The psalmist says, that's how
Braccia di Dio.
we need to feel in God's
Noi
arms.
assorbiamo l'affetto del Signore.
There in the arms,
Incontriamo l'amore che
we
ci spinge a donarci
encounter
con
God's
generosità.
and absorb the warmth and affection that we then turn and learn how to give.
Dice che la carità di
St. Paul
Cristo è una
recalls
cosa
this
che
when he says that
spinge
the charity of
ad amare.
Christ possesses a power that propels towards loving Him. Everything originates from Him.
Se tu non hai questa
We
radice,
cannot love
l'amore
Him
di
if we
Dio,
do
l'amore
not
di
have the
Gesù.
root of God's love and Christ's
Il secondo
love.
aspetto
The second
che traspasse dal
aspect
comandamento dell'amore.
that emerges from the
Collega
commandment
l'amore
of
per
love,
Dio a
it
quello
connects
per il
love for
prossimo,
God to love for
che
neighbor.
significa
This
che
means
amando i
by
fratelli
loving our brothers
noi
and sisters,
riflettiamo
we reflect
come specchi
the Father's
l'amore
love
del
like
Padre.
mirrors. To reflect God's love, this is the point. To love Him whom we do not see through the brother and sister whom we do see. One day, St. Teresa of Calcutta responded to a journalist who asked her if she had illusions about changing the world. And she responded, I never thought I would change the world. I only wanted to be a drop of clean water through which God's love could shine. This is how she who was so small, little, was able to do so much good by reflecting God's love like a drop. And at times, looking at her and other saints, we might be moved to think that they are heroes that cannot be imitated. Let us think about the small drop. Love is like a drop that can change many things. How? How do we do this? Taking the first step, as God does with us, without expecting the other loves. It's not always difficult to take this first step. This is the drop. Let us make the first step ourselves. So, dear brothers and sisters, thinking about God's love that always precedes us, let us ask ourselves, am I grateful to the Lord that loves me first? I feel God's love. Am I grateful for this? Do I meet Him each day as to allow myself to be transformed by Him? And then do I try to reflect His love? May the Virgin Mary help us to live the great commandment of love in our daily lives, to love and to be loved, and to love others. The angel of the Lord declared unto Mary,
Maria, grazia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus.
Santa Maria, Mater Dei, ora pro nobis peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostre. Amen.
Ecce ancilla Domini.
Fiat mi secundum verbum tuum.
Ave Maria, grazia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus.
Santa Maria, Mater Dei, ora pro nobis peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostre. Amen.
Verbum caro factum est.
Abitavit in nobis.
Ave Maria, grazia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus.
Santa Maria, Mater Dei, ora pro nobis peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostre. Amen.
Ora pro nobis, Santa Dei Gentris.
Digni efficiamo promissionibus Christi.
Grazie a Tua, in questo Domine, mentibus nostris infunde, ut qui angelo annunziante, Christi Filii Tui, incarnazione coniovim, per passione meius et crucem, a resurrezione gloriam perducamo. Per Christum Dominum nostrum.
Amen.
Gloria Patri et Filio et Spiritui Sancto.
Sicut erat in principio et nunc et semper et in saecula saeculorum. Amen.
Gloria Patri et Filio et Spiritui Sancto.
Sicut erat in principio et nunc et semper et in saecula saeculorum. Amen.
Gloria Patri et Filio et Spiritui Sancto.
Sicut erat in principio et nunc et semper et in saecula saeculorum. Amen.
Pro fidelibus defuntis, requiem aeternam dona eis Domini.
Perpetua lucia Teis.
Requiescant in pace.
Amen.
Sit nomen Domini benedictum.
Ex hoc nunc et usque in saeculum.
Aiutorium nostrum in nomine Domini.
Qui feci caelum et terra.
Benedicat vos, omnipotens Deus, Pater et Filius et Spiritus Sanctus. Amen.
Amen.
There we are. We just received the papal blessing, the apostolic blessing from the Holy Father, Pope Francis. Brothers and sisters,
Ringrazio tutti
I thank all of you from many places and everyone who united to pray for peace on Friday, imploring for peace in the world. Let us not stop. Let us continue to pray for Ukraine and for the grave situation in Palestine, Israel, and for other areas of the world, regions of the world where there is war, that there will be peace to the corridors for humanitarian aid, and that the hostages will be immediately released, and that no one will, and that we will stop, that there will be ceasefire.
L'ho ascoltato recentemente nel programma Sua Immagine.
The Holy Father speaks about Father Ibrahim, who was speaking on a program, an Italian program. He's the vicar in the Holy Land, and he was talking about ceasefire. Ceasefire. Stop. Brothers and sisters, stop. Brothers and sisters, war is always, always a defeat for mankind, for humankind. Pope Francis making reference to the violence in the Holy Land, and also the Holy Father now praying for the people, the victims in Acapulco, Mexico, who have been hit by the hurricane Otis, that the Holy Mother will give blessing to those who are suffering in Mexico as a result of the hurricane Otis in Acapulco. And now the Holy Father, as he always does, greeting the various pilgrims who are in the square, in the St. Peter's Square.
I ragazzi della Cresima venuti dalla Slovenia e quelli di Gandosso, come pure il pellegrinaggio delle figlie di San Camillo e dei ministri degli infermi. A tutti voi.
And to all of you, I wish you a lovely Sunday, and please do not forget to pray for me. Enjoy your lunch, and arrivederci. And viva el Papa, the crowds, the pilgrims in St. Peter's Square respond to his message after the recitation of the Angelus. Pope Francis making an appeal for peace in the Holy Land, and elsewhere saying there should be a ceasefire. Stop the arms, he says. And he quotes a priest, the vicar in the Holy Land, who appeared on Italian television speaking about stop the shooting, stop the war, and stop the fire. That brings us to the end of the Angelus of 29th October, 30th Sunday in Ordinary Time. I'm Father Paul Samasumo. On behalf of Vatican Media, thank you all for joining Pope Francis for the recitation of the Angelus. Thank you to our partner broadcasters of Catholic Television, Catholic Faith Network, Shalom World Television Networks, Shalom TV India, EWT, and Television, Salt and Light TV, Art Madashan TV, Uganda Catholic TV, Luminous Radio, and Radio Maria, England. Enjoy the rest of your day. Laudetur Jesus Christus. Praise be Jesus Christ.